in the vast, deep forest of Hyrule. Long have I served as the guardian spirit. I am known as the Deku Tree. The children of the forest, the Kokiri, live here with me. Each Kokiri has his or her own guardian fairy. However, there is one boy who does not have a fairy. Navi, Navi, where art thou? Come hither. Oh, Navi the fairy, listen to my words, the words of the Deku Tree. Dost thou sense it? The climate of evil descending upon this realm. Malevolent forces, even now, are mustering to attack our land of Hyrule. For so long, the Kokiri Forest, the source of life, has stood as a barrier, deterring outsiders and maintaining the order of the world. But, before this tremendous evil power, even my power is as nothing. It seems the time has come for the boy without a fairy to begin his journey. The youth whose destiny it is to lead Hyrule to the path of justice and truth. Navi, go now, find our young friend, and guide him to me. I do not have much time left. Fly, Navi, fly. The fate of the forest, nay, the world, depends on thee. Well, gotta show off those beautiful N64 graphics somehow. Hello, Link! Wake up! The Great Deku Tree wants to talk to you. Link, get up! Hey, come on! Can Hyrule's destiny really depend on such a lazy boy? You finally woke up. I'm Navi the Fairy. The Great Deku Tree asked me to be your partner from now on. Nice to meet you. The Great Deku Tree has summoned you, so let's get going, right now. And thus, the tradition of Link being asleep at the beginning of every 3D Zelda game was born. Hey everyone, it's ShinespriteDitto welcoming you to The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. There's going to be a lot of exposition in this first part, so I say we just get right into it. But first off, pressing up on the C-pad will actually change your perspective inside of houses. That's a nice little tip if you want to get a better view of the environment around you. As blurry as it is on the 64, it looks way better on the 3DS. But then again, this whole game does. Let's head outside and make our way towards the Great Deku Tree. Kokiri Forest. We saw a little bit of it when Navi was flying around. Yahoo! Hi, Link! Let's go down to here. See who this is. Hello! Wow, a fairy! Finally, a fairy came to you, Link! Wow, that's great news. I'm so happy for you. Now you're a true Kokiri, Link. Is that right? The Great Deku Tree has summoned you? It's quite an honor to talk to the Great Deku Tree. I'll wait for you here. Get going. Go see the Great Deku Tree. Alright, so this is a fan favorite character. We'll get into her in a little bit. She seems to be a good friend of Link. But let's make our way to the Great Deku Tree. We saw how to get there when Navi was flying around. And I'm going to try to explain the controls the best I can as we go. Although this game is extremely popular, so I imagine most people have already played it by now. And hello. Hey you, Mr. No Fairy. What's your business with the Great Deku Tree? Well, he summoned me. Without a fairy, you're not even a real man. Well, take a look, pal. What? You've got a fairy? Say what? The Great Deku Tree actually summoned you? What? Why would he summon you and not the Great Maidu? This isn't funny. I don't believe it. You aren't even fully equipped yet. How do you think you're going to help the Great Deku Tree without both a sword and shield? What? You're right. I don't have my equipment ready, but if you want to Okay, well there's an example of text going by. It seems that he's not going to let us pass if we don't have a sword and shield. So let's go pay $120 for Switch Pokemon games. We can actually buy a shield from inside the shop here, so we're gonna need some rupees. Hi Link, look this way. Look over here with Z and talk to me with A. So this is the introduction of Z targeting. For me it would be ZL targeting. Yes, yes. That's how you use a fairy. It's so great that you finally have a fairy, partner. I'll teach you how to talk to people using your fairy. Yeah, okay. So basically, pressing L or ZL, or Z, if you're playing the Nintendo 64, will lock onto things. This is going to be our main mechanic for battle, but it also works when talking to people or trying to read things from a distance. As long as you see that little crystal above their heads, you can lock onto something. But we'll explain that a little bit more when we get into combat. For now, it says attack up at the bottom. Up at the bottom? That is not how that works. Up at the top of the screen, and that lets Link roll around. We have our mini-map in the lower right-hand corner, which we can turn off with the L button, but I don't ever see a reason why you would want the mini-map off. The red bar on the mini-map shows the location of where we just came from, while the yellow bar is us moving around in the world to show Link's location at all times. We can see over here is the shop, as I explained. It's going to cost us 40 rupees for a shield, and our rupee total is in the bottom left corner. So, let's try to find some rupees. Walk around the grass here, and eventually, yes, some will pop out. We can only carry 99 rupees to begin with, but we're going to need 40 of them for the shields. And there are some good ways to do that. Honestly, if you just go around and explore the forest a little bit, you are going to come across them naturally. A couple other things. You can see that Navi is flashing up there on the C buttons. By pressing up, she will give you hints on what to do. If you know anything about Ocarina of Time, you probably have heard people complain about Navi, even though you have to go out of your way to talk to her most times. Let's see what's over here. Dust attack. Alright, well we don't have a sword yet, so that means nothing to us. And this guy over here will mention that you can Z-target onto the rocks. I'm going to call it Z-target just because I want to be consistent with the game's dialogue. And we can actually, when Z-targeting, we'll strafe back and forth when we use the control stick, and we can actually use that to jump to the side. And we can also, if we press down, we can actually jump backwards, and this tutorial for doing it, we actually get some money that is just hovering in the air. So that's how that works. You don't have to be locked on, just holding the Z button will allow you to strafe back and forth. A lot of people will use the targeting trick to get around the world a lot faster by just You cannot pick up grass, but by just targeting, people will jump across the land because it's a lot faster than walking. But I'm in no hurry. As much as I want to hurry up and show this game off to you people. On the action command, if we go up to this, we'll be able to crawl through it here. And let's see if we can find more rupees along this hole. viewpoint. So basically, Z as itself exists as our camera. There is no free camera, not in this game at least, but by pressing Z we can move the camera directly behind us. This is a really good tutorial and demonstration on how to do that. There's a boulder that will roll around here, and if we press the Z button, we can actually change our view to see around the corner to know if it's coming or not. Once again, some grass here. We can walk through for some rupees. Blue rupee. Alright, already over halfway there for the shield. And a chest. You got the Kokiri sword! On the equipment subscreen, select it with the cursor and equip it with A. This is a hidden treasure of the Kokiri, but you can borrow it for a while. Be sure to practice with it before you really fight. So it's not instantly equipped, but let's see here. Visit the house of the Know-It-All Brothers to get answers to all your item-related questions. Or you can visit the video of your local neighborhood ShinespriteDitto. Another rupee over here. So what that was saying is that if we press start, we open up a menu. We have our map, but you can see that most of the world's map is clouded out because we haven't been there yet. The map will be uncovered naturally as we progress further into the game, and I'm sorry, I know that this is a lot of tutorials, but there is a lot of mechanics, and honestly, Ocarina of Time is a great 3D Zelda because it just gets rolling. Like, right from the start, you're just kind of thrown in, and there's some tutorials, some exposition of the story, but for the most part, we're in full control, and we slowly move away from that in the more modern 3D Zeldas. Of course, not Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. This is the items. Whenever we have an item that is not equipment, it'll be on this menu, and then we will just select which of the 3 C buttons, which are those yellow buttons up the top. If you're playing the GameCube, Wii, or Switch versions, this will act as your C stick, and then the stick, you just press the direction of whatever item it is. But I'll go into more. I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch version of the game, so I'll get into more of how to make that easier for you as it becomes more relevant. The equipment, we will just press A on whatever we want equipped. We cannot change our boots or our tunic for a very long time, so like near the end of the game, so don't even worry about these for now. But this is sword, and obviously the second icon is going to be shields. There are 3 swords and 3 shields, so let's just equip that for now. This is quest status. These are going to be basically your key item screen as we get stuff that's required for the story, and as well as permanent collectibles on our journey. Of course, I'll explain what each of these individually do when we come across them. But for now, that's everything you need to know about the status screen. If you press B, you can save, but I'm not going to do that for right now. And we have our sword. So let's enter through here again. Once again, the blue icon is the action icon. We press the A button anytime we want it to perform a certain action. As long as it says it up there, we can do it, like crawl, grab, stuff like that. So, sword combat. Nice and simple explanation. You're just going to have to kind of mess around with it to really get used to it. But if we just press B, it'll be a horizontal slice. If we press the Z button and press B, it'll be a vertical slice. We can use our control stick to sort of do like a slash all the way through. If we press up, we'll do a little jab. So it'll be just a jab forward. But yeah, mostly the control stick will just respond. Like you can see I'm pressing right here and it's going right, and left it's going left. And forward is a jab. I really like to just stab. If we press targeting, and then we press the E button with our sword out, we can do a jump attack. And if you rotate the control stick, you can do a spin attack. You can also charge up a spin attack by holding the B button and letting it go. So that's pretty much all we need to know for combat for right now. You can cut this sign to get another blue rupee. And we are almost there, and if you press up on the C stick, you can go to first person view, and you can just take a good look around. We can see a little bit of the Deku tree back there. That's kind of impressive for the 64. And I see a blue rupee right there, so let's go ahead and get that. Hopefully I'm doing a good job of explaining everything. I know I'm kind of going fast, but I really just want to get into this game. We have enough for the shield, but hey, it never hurts to have more money. Walk across here. hello. Hee hee hee. You came all the way up here? You're a real man. Look, isn't this view pretty? Change your viewpoint? Well, yeah, I already said that. Shut up. So one thing about the dialogue in this game is that if somebody, like an NPC, if you go out of your way to talk to them, you can press the B button to have it auto appear and just scroll past it really fast, or the A button to scroll through normally. The text in this game scrolls so slow naturally, so sometimes I may just end up skipping things by pressing the B button on accident, where it'll go like pretty much through the whole thing. This is something that is way better on the 3DS, but I have no way of capturing for 3DS, where the text will auto appear if you press the A button. If it's someone important, like the Great Deku Tree, you cannot speed through the text with the B button, and you will have that really, really slow text. It's a little bit faster in the sequel to this game, and in the 3DS version, you can just always have it auto-appear by pressing the A button, where that's just so much better. So let's go through here. Welcome! Welcome! Alright, let's move our control stick to the right, and we can buy the Deku Shield! You got the Deku Shield! Switch to the command subscreen. I already shut that off. It's pretty much the same as the sword. So if we press R, we can crouch and defend. If we press R while Z targeting, we can stand and defend. I'm gonna just go ahead and equip that. And if you actually just walk behind in this little corner, you get another blue rupee. To go into rupees for a little bit, green rupees are worth 1, blue rupees are worth 5, yellow rupees are not in this game, but they're normally worth 10. Red rupees are worth 20. Purple rupees are worth 50. Silver is worth 200. And big rupees, which are yellow, are worth 200 as well. I remember that from Majora's Mask, and I'm hoping it's the same as Ocarina of Time. And so, yeah, we have our sword and shield. So now let's see if Mido will blow his cover and let us pass so we can see the Deku Tree. If you want to see the Great Deku Tree, you should at least equip a sword and shield. What's that? Oh, you have a Deku Shield? And what's that? Is that the Kokiri sword? Good grief! Well, even with all that stuff, a wimp is still a wimp, huh? I, the Great Mido, will never accept you as one of us. Shoot! How did you get to be the favorite of Saria and the Great Deku Tree, huh? Grumble, grumble. Grumble, grumble, a nice little reference to the very first Zelda game. So now coming through here, on our way to see the Deku Tree. Whoa! Yes, we have some enemies. So we can Z-target them, and with just a simple slash, nice and easy, we can cut them off, and they will always give us a Deku Stick. And we can set that to the C button. I'll show that off. You will always get a Deku Stick if they're sticking up like this. They can actually be in a different position, but to get you used to combat, these first three will always be sticking up like that, where they can't attack you. Great Deku Tree, I'm back! Oh, Navi, thou hast returned. Link, welcome. Listen carefully to what I, the Great Deku Tree, am about to tell thee. Thy slumber these past moons must have been restless and full of nightmares. As the servants of evil gain strength, a vile climate pervades the land and causes nightmares to those sensitive to it. Verily, thou hast felt it. Link, the time has come to test thy courage. I have been cursed. I need you to break the curse with your wisdom and courage. Dost thou have courage enough to undertake this task? Yes! Then enter, brave Link, and thou too, Navi. Navi the fairy, thou must aid Link. And Link, when Navi speaks, you see him and listen well words of wisdom. Yeah. Words of wisdom. Also known as pointing out the obvious. So, let's go inside the Great Deku Tree and see if we can break the curse that has been cast upon him. Inside the Deku Tree. So, we are already at the first dungeon. If you are used to the modern Zelda games, You may not be used to this, as it starts to take a really long time, but like I said, Ocarina of Time is really good in preparing you and just like really throwing you in there and getting you started. So we're already in the first dungeon. I recommend that every time you enter a dungeon, you save. The reason for this is because when you save inside a dungeon, if you reset, you will be back at the beginning of the dungeon. If you are outside of a dungeon, you will start the game at Link's house. And here they are sitting forward, kind of like piranha plants. To go into combat with the shield, if we are Z targeting, we can hold our shield up. And if we are not Z targeting, we'll be kneeling down like this, where we're susceptible from above. It can be a little bit better when you're standing, because you can just slice your shield. And Deku Nuts. These are going to be such an underrated item, and we are going to be using them throughout the whole freaking game. But when you're pressing down like this and you are blocking, you have better control of your shield and kind of full control of it. But all you can do is sort of jab forward, whereas when you're standing, you don't really control your shield, but you have better control of movement and can use your sword in multiple directions. So I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to equip both of these. And our Deku Stick is kind of like a two-handed weapon. It is stronger than your Kokiri sword, believe it or not. Just this simple wooden stick. However, whenever we use it, it'll break. And you'll have to collect more of them to keep using them. For now, we can only hold 10, and we can also only hold 20 Deku Nuts. Listen! Look at this wall. The vines growing on it give it a rough surface. Maybe you can climb it, Link. Wow. Up in the left corner is our health. I really don't think I need to explain health in a video game. But yeah, you can cut grass, and that'll often drop hearts, and enemies can drop hearts. The game has a good idea on if you're low on hearts or not, and normally if you are, the game will be plentiful in giving you hearts. And another chest already. We got the map! You found the dungeon map! Alright, so I'm actually going to show that off, but an interesting fact is that that layout that's on the map is actually a dungeon that we have not seen yet in this game, but that is the map for it. So if we enter our sub-menu, we can scroll over to the map. This gives us a very basic layout of the entire dungeon once we have the dungeon map. As you can see, the inside the Deku Tree, being our first dungeon, really isn't going to be that complicated, and it's going to be very short. I'm going to try to be doing it all within this episode, but I don't know. Here's hoping. Let's jump over here. If you're at a ledge and you're running, Link will just auto-jump, so there is no jump button like there is in Breath of the Wild. You can open a door by standing in front of it and pressing A. I really like Navi, and I'm going to be defending her later in the Let's Play. But I do have to say, like, in these earlier parts, she is a bit obnoxious by just pointing out the most simple and obvious of things. Right here, we have a Deku Scrub. And to actually show this off, every time you target an enemy, you can press up, and Navi will actually give you, like, a little tattle description of it. Deku Scrub. It will hide in the grass if you get close to it. Bounce the nuts, it spits... bounce the nuts, it spits back at it. Whew. I'd really hate it if my girlfriend did that, but... yeah, so if you're ever having trouble with an enemy, Navi will actually give you hints on how to defeat them, which is really cool. If you threaten to pull out your sword while targeting it, they will immediately start talking to you. Ow, forgive me, master. A lot of innuendos. When you jump off a high cliff, you hold forward, you will roll on the ground when you land and won't get hurt from the fall. I can't guarantee it'll work though if the cliff is really, really high, hee hee. Well, try it if you are feeling bold. That is actually a useful tip. This game does have fall damage, but if you do fall, you can actually hold up on the control stick and you won't take any fall damage. Here, I'll actually go ahead and show that out. Yes, Link will just do an auto roll. There's a platform here, but it is going to crumble once you step on it, so it's actually a little bit faster to jump down like that and climb up the vine yourself. And we got the fairy slingshot. Yet another item. Pretty much the Zelda formula that starts with this game is that you're going to get a dungeon. You're going to get a dungeon. Yes, you're going to get an item in each dungeon. And that item that you use is going to be used for a whole bunch of puzzles throughout the dungeon, and sometimes for combat preceding the dungeon. The fairy slingshot is going to be your best friend early on in the game, so let's go ahead and equip that. You are supposed to shoot this ladder down, which you can do really easily by targeting the ladder. You'll just lock onto it, and that's kind of how this game handles combat aerially. There'll be flying enemies, and you can just target onto them, and you'll lock on, and you'll be able to get more accurate aim if you have an item that shoots stuff like the slingshot here. By just pressing the item, you'll go into first-person view, and then you can hold it again, and whenever you let go, you'll shoot. So that way you can get a better precision when you're not able to target onto something when you're in first-person view like this. But you can also just jump on this platform and come back. So we can't continue that way. Let's go back into the main room. And if you were to climb this wall earlier, well, I'll just go ahead and show what happens if you don't have the slingshot. This first one might not see you, but that second one definitely will. And now we can lock on for more accurate aiming. With targeting, we can kill these Skulltula enemies. We can't log on. Oh my goodness. We can't lock on to the one at the top, so you have to go into first-person view. And N64 control stick, hella finicky. Yeah, see, the game really knows when you're low on hearts and will just drop them. Those enemies were Skulltulas. They kind of just climb on vines, and if you climb past them, they'll try to knock you down. They're not really that threatening because you see that they go down in one hit with the slingshot. But over here, we have a bigger Skulltula. Its soft belly is its weak point. So when it turns around, you want to slice it. However, you just stare at it. And if you hit it with a Deku Stick, and especially if you jump, you can actually kill it in one hit. Some enemies will drop these Deku Seeds. They are small, hard seed. Oh my god, so many innuendos. This is our ammo for our slingshot, so just cut grass or kill some enemies. If you are not feeling confident with the amount that you need and need to replenish, we can hold up to 30 seeds for right now. So with this switch, if you hear it ticking like that, it's something that is on a timer, which means that we have a limited amount of time to get our ass over here, and yet another chest. You found the compass! They really called this thing a compass. So we can see the location of hidden things. You can see on our mini-map there that there is a chest in this room. That is what that logo is. It's right over there. We are going to be getting that here in a second, but it will actually show you where stuff is hidden throughout the dungeon. So if you want to go back and try to get everything that's in here, the compass is really good for showing you stuff you missed, and it goes nicely with the maps. You can see what rooms you haven't been in and where stuff will lie. So those Skulltula enemies, there's actually a special type of Skulltula, and you can actually hear it now. Of course, I say that and the game stops making the noise for me to show you. And let's make sure you have a Deku Stick, because every time there's a not lit torch in a Zelda game, you want to light it, and that's how we'll be able to get out of here. Step on the switch, and raise the platforms again so we can actually go over to where the chest is. You can see that there's a big Skulltula waiting for us, but bam! Deku Nuts will stun enemies, and we are just able to walk by without ever fighting him. This is the special type of Skulltula that I was talking about. This is a gold Skulltula. It does not actively attack you. You can hear it when you can't always see it. So try to pay close attention to the sound. It's pretty loud. But we can kill it. And when we kill it, it'll drop a token. You destroyed a gold Skulltula. You got a token proving you destroyed it. Now, we don't know what these do yet. But we can see that on our quest status, we have 1. There are 100 total in the game. I will be showing you how to get every single one that is in here, all 100 of them. I will talk about what they do specifically later, but if you've played Breath of the Wild, they're basically like the Korok seeds, except there's just way less of them. He's freaking out over there. Yeah, we will be getting stuff for doing them. It's worth it to do a majority of them, but it's definitely not worth it to do all of them. Hey, it is just like the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. But yeah, there's 100 in this game. Like I said, I will be showing the location of all of them. If you are wondering... Wow, I really should have just waited till he turned around. Yeah, if you hit them when they're stunned like that, they will start to swing around. But there are 3 gold Skulltulas that are within this dungeon. And we can jump down here, break this cobweb, and whoa! Alright, and we can actually see the last remaining 2. We can shoot the one that's climbing on this vine. Hop on over. Walk up the wall and you'll start climbing. Link will also auto-climb things, which can get a little bit annoying. But there's our 3rd gold Skulltula. And now, we have to do a little bit more to get this one. We are not tall enough to reach that. So we're going to want to climb up here. And refocus and hop over here. And we got our 3rd gold Skulltula. So that is every single one that is in this dungeon. We no longer have to worry about this. As you can see, there's a block over here, but we can't quite make it over there. And that is where we want to go. If you're curious, what's in this chest? Just a normal recovery heart. I don't have any Deku sticks! Alright, well, there's some cobweb over there. And there's a torch. Kind of obvious on what we need to do. This is a really good first dungeon. If you ever need a Deku stick, and it's just not working out for you to get these guys how you want them, Deku Nuts will always stun them where they're standing straight up, so you can get a nice and easy Deku stick. We fill our ammo here. But yeah, this platform is elevated a little bit, so we can walk on it. But yeah, this is a really nice and simple first dungeon to sort of introduce you to how dungeons are going to be working throughout the game. There's quite a few of them in this game, which is... A lot of them are really, really solid, too, which is insane for the first 3D Zelda. Please forgive me, Master. I'll never do it again. If you spare me... Oh, ew, that sounded so gross the way I read that. I'll teach you something cool. You will never beat my brothers up ahead unless you punish them in the proper... I don't like the words that are being spoken throughout this episode. The order is 2, 3, 1. 23 is number 1. Do you think I'm a traitor? You are absolutely a traitor. Interestingly, though, 231 is a pattern that's used in a lot of Nintendo games, and is also the pattern used for the Mystery of the Staircase in Super Mario 64, and I only ever remember that because of it being 231, the same as Ocarina of Time here. After you get into the water, if you hold down A, you can dive. I bet there are some interesting things under... Yeah. Yeah, so we need to dive down here because of this rotating spike. We can't quite hop over here. And we're just a little too weak to hop up here. But we can see that there is a switch over here. And we can press it from above when we dive down, and it'll lower the water level. We can hear it ticking again, so it's not going to stay that way. So you kind of want to try to time it to where this platform will be on your side when you press the switch. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. There is another way to do this, where if you just jump into the spike, you'll have invincibility frames and you'll go right through it whenever it's coming through. But I don't want to really use glitches a whole bunch, and I kind of want to show like the most authentic way of doing stuff. This game does have a bunch of glitches, and I really want to talk about that a little bit later in the journey when they're more relevant. And Stand next to this block and grab a hold of it with A. While holding A, you can push or pull it. If you stand next to the block and press you can climb on top of it. Pay attention to what the action icon says. Yeah, we can pull the block. Like I said, I really like Navi, but in this first dungeon, she really does just point out the most obvious stuff that you really didn't need an explanation for. And that is a little obnoxious, but later in the game, she's not so bad. Typically, he's already facing up, so you can't stun him. You can only stun them whenever they're actively attacking you. Of course, not lit torches. If you see a lit one and you don't see lit torches, pretty much standard Zelda rules, you always want to light the ones that aren't lit using the one that's lit. And it is nice to sort of have like a torch item where you can just always have torches, like at the drop of a hat. Like, and I broke it. Nice. That first one that will actively attack you does not respawn, but these are called Deku Babas, by the way. I never explained that, but these are Deku Babas. They will respawn very quickly, so if you want to farm some Deku Sticks just to make sure you have enough, this is a really good room to do that. And you might want some for the boss fight, which we're actually approaching. And Big Skulltula, I am just going to stun him and run through. This room we can get through very, very fast. We're gonna burn this over here, but we can see that there is like a very like rocky wall over there. We cannot do anything about that yet. So we're just gonna have to keep on keeping on and go through here to where this is. Burn that, and we are really close to the end of the dungeon. I do apologize that this episode has been just like nothing but tutorials. This is just a really good tutorial dungeon, and also, I really wanted to jump into it. I swear that every part is not going to be as long as this one, but I really just wanted to get things started with this Let's Play, and just really start off Ocarina of Time and get right into it. This game is amazing, and I really wanted to show that off, like, as soon as possible, and not just spend, like, my whole entire episode just looking for the sword. And now that we push that block down, we are back in the main room, and we have access, we have easy access to this point of the map. Now that we push that down, we can just easily jump over here. Whoa, I thought that a spin attack would kill it. And if you're a little bit confused, I know that this was the only part where I got stuck when I first played the game, but keep in mind I was 10 years old when I first played this game, is that you cannot destroy this, and these torches are up too high for you to light. But yeah, I know, I feel silly that I got stuck on this, but you actually have to jump over here and use this torch, hop back over, you can jump with the torch, that's really nice, and then now, I said now, you can burn it by swinging the torch. You always fall into water. And if you just swim above a heart or a rupee that's in the water, because there will be rupees in the water, you'll just immediately collect it. And 3 Deku Scrubs! We were told about this earlier in the dungeon. 2, 3. If you get too close to them, they will hide back in their little leaves. 1. I said 1! 23 is number 1! How did you know our secret? How irritating! There definitely was not a traitor. It's so annoying that I'm going to reveal the secret of Queen... Never trust a Deku Scrub! Wait, that's how... Am I being racist to Deku Scrubs? In order to administer the coup de grace to Queen Goma, strike with your sword while she's stunned. Oh, Queenie. Sorry about that. The most untrustworthy henchman known to man. So, let's head on through.